Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Alhamdulillah. We've been blessed, alhamdulillah, to meet once again our two beloved Shaykh whom we have had interview with in the past. We are here in this Masjid Farooq on Broad Street, alhamdulillah. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to reward Shaykh Muhammad Bari, alhamdulillah, for establishing this masjid. May Allah Azza wa Jalla make this a sadaqatul jariyah for him and make it a benefit for the Muslims. And the brother, alhamdulillah, he has always made everybody feel welcome in this masjid. He said this masjid is not only for Africans or from Fulani, his tribe. This masjid is for the Muslims, alhamdulillah. Whether they're from America or Africa, black or white, alhamdulillah, this masjid is for the Muslims. So alhamdulillah, we've been blessed to meet the Shaykh, alhamdulillah. Once again, the Shaykh is going to share with us his interaction with Shaykh Ibn Bāz. He said he met Shaykh Ibn Bāz, inshallah, is going to share with us his encounter with the Shaykh, rahimahullah ta'ala, rahmatan abrar. Faddal Shaykh,
Alhamdulillah, keep it short. Mecca, 1980-81, inshallah, alhamdulillah, we went a very big group from America to Hajj. So alhamdulillah, we were brought in by one of our brothers, he was married to the princess of Bangladesh. Let's make it real short. So his wife would have been princess of Bangladesh, but because Bangladesh got separated, her family came here in asylum. So we went in Hajj, alhamdulillah, all together with those two families, with several families. And when we were in, alhamdulillah, during the Hajj, we went to stay in the northeast side of Mecca. What's that called? The area we had with a Sheikh, a Professor Zubair. We were with Professor Zubair, who's working for the Saudi government in history. He was a professor of history, who we used to live with here. He used to be here in Philly with us. So anyway, he was the one that was like our host. Okay, Wali Muhammad's family, he's a friend. And he used to live with Wali Muhammad when he was studying here. So alhamdulillah, we went to the masjid, big masjid, green and yellow dome in the northwest side of Mecca, 3 miles from the Kaaba. And we stayed with the Sheikh. We was praying, the Imam of that masjid belonged to the tribe of Abdullah bin Bāz, rahmallah. So, alhamdulillah, we meet him in every salat. Most salats he's coming with his son or with 2 sons like that. And then after the salat, he's holding dars. And then he turns the dars over because he was ill. Turned the dars over to his sons, and they continued the dars over there. So alhamdulillah, they touch the major subjects of Islam. Kufr, shirk, you know what I mean? Tahara, you know? And of course, because we were there for Hajj, Umrah, and these subjects, they were our subjects. So also, you know, there was Talim being held in this masjid, and it was international Talim in Masjid bin Bāz Masjid over there. I'm going to say the name of this place. Aliyah, it's close. It's Aliyah. It's close to Aliyah, very close. So anyhow, international, from Turkey, from Pakistan, from Africa, people there and they had their translators. So that's the doors we used to sit in. Maybe, must be 100 people because they filled this whole masjid. We had one section of this masjid about the size of this whole place. So 100 people sitting there, and they have, each one of them, they come in there, it's like an appointment for this class. So you bring your translator. So our translator was Mujahid Tariq, alhamdulillah, my teacher, he's here, Masjid Aqsa, still alive, alhamdulillah, with him last night, alhamdulillah. So he was our translator, and also one Syrian doctor who was from Florida, you know, so he spoke very good English. So between the two of them, they were giving their translation. So like that, and reading from the Hayat al-Sahaba, the lives of the Sahaba, history book of the Sahaba written by Sheikh Zakaria, and reading from, for the wudu and salat and these things, they're reading from Imam what's that? I gotta calm down. All right, Hayat al-Sahaba, and anyway, there's a Nawawi, Imam Nawawi's book, alhamdulillah. Yeah, Nawawi's hadith book. So alhamdulillah, that was an everyday thing. Morning, they have a class, usually after Fajr, and then in the evening between Maghrib and Isha. And some of the people from like Pakistan and Malaysia and those people, who it was very difficult for them to understand, and maybe they didn't have their translator, couldn't really handle the pace. So they would go out and visit the stores and the houses in the neighborhood and come back. Sometimes Ibn Bāz's son would go, one of his sons would go, because they know their way around, make sure people don't get lost, like that. So they would go and make a jawla and ziyarah, to meet people. Sometimes go to see a sick sheikh, came to Hajj and all that, but sick, go see a sick one. We did some of that on the side. And also we want to know our way around. So that was all basically our everyday thing. For a whole month before Hajj, and then after Hajj, a month. So that's basically what it was. So we had asked the Shaykh a lot of questions, of course, and some of us were taking notes. There wasn't no cell phone memory at that time. We were taking notes, and alhamdulillah, we took a lot of notes. So we were asking about this subject, especially this subject we were talking about just now, about Rasulullah praying. Coming in Hadith of Sahih, Rasulullah had his Sahaba gathered one time. So after the gathering, the lesson, the Sahaba, they asked Rasulullah dua for their countries. So Rasulullah raised his hands and they said, oh, Rasulullah, make dua for our Sham. So Rasulullah made dua, Allah bless Sham and guide the people of Sham and make Sham proliferous, productive. Everybody say Ameen. They said, oh, Rasulullah, please make dua for our Yemen. And Rasulullah make dua for Yemen, and they are similarly. And then, oh, Rasulullah make dua for our Masr. I said Masr, Sham, Yemen, like this. So they grouped there. So Rasulullah make dua for our Najd. Rasulullah silent. They asked him, here Rasulullah make dua for our Najd. Rasulullah silent. They said, here Rasulullah make dua for our Najd. Rasulullah don't make dua for nets like that. Later on, Sahaba regathered and they asked Rasulullah about this situation. Why are you not making dua for nets? Rasulullah tell them fitna. Fitna is going to come from there. And it will come to Mecca and all the area, Medina and this whole place, and that will start from there. So subhanallah al-azim, this is a very, very important subject. Alhamdulillah, we're seeing this problem now. The people ruling. His 4 sons in a row. This is the last one, Abdullah. He may be still alive, maybe not alive, but anyway, he's turned over all the authority to his nephew. And that's who's ruling Arabia now. The first day he invited all the big sheikhs. You look back in the history, even in the news history, world news, you can look in there and find that. BBC, of course. He invited all of the big sheikhs and all the millionaires, all of those people who were holding up the government of Saudi, they call it Saudi Arabia, called the Arabian government, to come for an important meeting. They all came for the meeting. So once he had everybody there and all in the one of the big American hotels, so Ramadan, or this other one begins with M. I used to work for them even. So all of them was in a big hotel. Before that, he had arranged for the hotel security, changed all locks and this and that, and everything was ready for this. He captured them, kept them prisoner in the hotel. Some of them stayed in there for 3 months, up to 3 months. These scholars, chiefs, all the ministers of all the foundations and all of that, they're all billionaires, million and billionaires. And he demanded for all of them that they're going to have to take the bay'ah with him, and also pay him what we call that jizya. It's like jizya, pay him a membership for to be under his authority. This guy that's there now, ruling Arabia. So some of them naturally in the beginning, they said this is ridiculous. We came here for a big supper, big dinner, and and in friendship, and we're being held prisoner, we're locked up, You see, locked up until you agree to transfer your $1 billion from you, 2-3 billion, something like that. That's how this government that's in there now started.
طيب, Jazakumullah khairan, Shaykh wa barakallahu feekum. So can you please tell us, do you remember Shaykh Ibn Bāz rahimahullah being asked specific questions and he responded to?
Yeah, that was one right there. Actually, it's more than one. There's many in one. But people ask all kinds of questions, but especially about Hajj, main thing about Hajj, and Umrah, Hajj Tamattu, the different types of Hajj. He answering those questions, alhamdulillah. those questions. Well, those are dini questions, so you find those answers, the same answer you find that's going to be in Quran and Hadith and etc. But they asked them about, the question that we were talking about a minute ago. Many people asking them about this occupation that was being done. At that time, 1980, 81, there was people from Najd came and they took over the Kaaba. Okay, with American weapons, M16s from California. I happen to be a gun specialist, military and all of that. So it was a big interest to me. So a dude, I can't remember the name right now, Khalil something, and then I'll pick it up, I'll look it on, you can look it up in, what do you call that? Google. But he was from Najd. He brought his people, let's say smuggled them into Arabia as if he was going to do Hajj, 79, that 1 year before we were there. And during the Tawaf, we had our people, our brothers, even I can say their names, Abdul Karim and these brothers was in their apartments around the Kaaba at the time. When they brought in a bunch of caskets, we call them caskets, the box you put the mayat in. But those boxes were full with M16 rifle, M16 automatic Jew-American weapons from a Mattel company. So they pulled that out and they took over the Hajj. They stopped the Tawaf. Many people, of course, would not stop. So they were trampled, beat down, knocked out, subjugated. A couple of our brothers escaped out of the Kaaba at that time. They went to their apartment. They called us. We in New York at the time. We answered the phone in New York. Hey, how's this guy thing going to the Kaaba? We got a problem over here, you know? So they told us about it. I'm looking out the window. One brother, he was telling us. He used to be a truck driver in New York. I think he's still alive. So anyway, he's looking out the window into the Kaaba. He's up high in his apartment. He's looking out the window to the Kaaba, and there's a riot kind of environment going on there. There are people being knocked down and beaten and dragged out and all of this because they took over the Kaaba and they put their leader up there to announce his being the Mahdi. So that was one of the biggest questions when we came in 80. We couldn't get there in 79 anyway because all this stuff was going on. When we came in 80, we're looking at 80, 81. Still till 81, we're looking at the bullet holes, machine gun bullet holes like this big. That's 45 to 70 caliber machine gun holes all in the building, all in the walls of the Kaaba as we going around and around and on the second floor, going around and around. And the tank treads that cut into the marble floor and into the walls. And we were walking around. My main partner who was with me, he's also ex-military. Not only that, he was a high security spy international before he became Muslim. So we looking at it, we identified by the tracks and the tread marks that was all over the Kaaba and everything, the American model tanks, Brent Abrams and like this that were in there, shooting the place up to get this group, capture this group, trap this group. They trapped it in Bab Ibrahim. Normally they don't let people go in there at the time. It was closed down, taped off. But because we came with government personnel, you know, he took us where to see these things. He got permission. They had told the police and said to let us in there. So we're looking at the burn marks where they burnt those guys. They poured fuel oil, gasoline instead of mixture into Bab Ibrahim to drown those guys in gasoline and fuel 10 feet. 10 feet. The water line is up on the wall about 10 feet, about high as the ceiling. Then from there up 20, 30, 40 feet inside of that tower, all the burn, you can still smell it. All the burn and nasty, and we had to get out of there pretty soon. We were going in there like that. And getting out and coughing. And yeah, we praying because the Allah, you know, you allow this to happen to your house, you know, what kind of folks is these and what kind of things going on? So those ulama like Shaykh Ibn Bāz, his son about 25, 30 at the time, no gray hair. And he was speaking and giving us the translation that this unfortunate incident, but Rasulullah warned us that these kind of times are going to come and the next thing after this is the Dajjal, which will be much worse than we can imagine. So this is a sign for us to pray and seek refuge in Allah against these people and any others who come falsely and to just take over. And we're sitting here watching Palestine, Syria, Iran. Iran is shooting up, they're back and forth now. Iraq. So these Kafirs are pushing this thing. Yahudi from Israel is pushing this thing. They want to take over all of that and make the greater Israel We asked about that. They said, this is going to happen. They told us then, 80, told us then this is going to happen, and we may be going to be alive in that time. They said 10 years, 20 years from now. And that was 80. Now it's 2024. These sheikhs, rahmallah, most of them probably gone. Sheikh Sadawad and so many of them locked up, locked up for years because they keep trying to warn the people and tell the people about these things.
Jazakumullah khair wa
May Allah have
barakallahu
mercy on us,
feekum.
forgive us, and
Ameen.
protect us, ya Allah.
To close out, inshallah ta'ala, do you remember any incident, because we heard that Shaykh Ibn Bāz had a good sense of humor. So do you remember any incidents like that you can share with us? Barakallahu feekum.
He was smiling. I mean, most of the time, he is a smiley person. He come into the masjid, alhamdulillah, and give him a small talk, 5-minute talk, because he has congesting to bronchial asthma, maybe something like that. Can't talk long, couldn't talk long. That's probably from being locked up in the jail, actually, because they had him locked up until he submitted and allowed, put his signature on. The government could do whatever you want to do, but take them guards off his family, and his tribe, and let them, travel for food and what they have to do into their works and their businesses, So they were held him hostage, what I'm saying. But he used to make a little bit of a joke about that. Because we see you were locked up in the jail. Yes, I was locked up in the jail with bars and everything, like an animal in the zoo, like an animal monkey. He said, like a monkey in the zoo. He said, but I'm blind, I'm weak, and I'm contracted with these people, and what can I do? I'm helpless, and it's up to you people. Like that he was saying. He said, it's up to you people, that when you get in a position, when you get into this position, that Allah make you strong and help you and give his assistance to you, And he was very serious, very serious.
Now,
his sons, we used to eat with them, break fast. His son's carrying the food to us. Lamb, that goes to the humorous part. Lamb and goat, and, also camel, what's that called? The roast. They cut it off the roast camel. So we're doing the eating, we have to much more enjoyable. And asked him about his grandchildren. Some of Ibn Bāz's grandchildren are there. They were teenage, maybe they teenage at that time, teens, like 12, 13. Recite some Quran, alhamdulillah, and we were in there eating. Allahu Akbar. That was almost, twice a week. Juma and Saturday. Juma, like Saturday, we call it Saturday. Juma and Saturday, Yom Sept. These are the days for kind of like, get together community and where are you from, and you meet the people in charge of leaders of different countries. They're there, African leaders with their hats and their tribal garb. When they finish their tawaf and all of that, then the people go on and putting their clothes on and come and sitting in their national garb and telling us about the patterns and everything. Yes, subhanAllah. And giving gifts, a lot of gift giving. The Sheikh is smiling, they give him a gift and smiling. He said, and he used to make jokes. He said, I know this is beautiful, but I got to ask my son, is it beautiful? Like his son said, yes, it was beautiful. May Allah bless him. May Allah bless him.
Jazakumullah khairan, Shaykh, wa barakallahu feekum. Before we close out, inshallah, Shaykh, mashallah, if you can give any advice for the Muslims, barakallahu feekum, in America, any advice for alhamdulillah, you a Shaykh, alhamdulillah, even if it's not knowledge, but alhamdulillah, you're older in age. So any advice you can give to the Muslims in America, because this is going to be in English only.
Well, first and foremost, read those like Rasulullah say, make the salah in Jama'ah. Wow. Very necessary, you see. We must make the salah in Jama'ah. This should be a part of our lives, because it's a way of life, this deen. Deen is a way of life. So we have to put our life into his life and be like him. Where do you find him? In the masjid. So we must go to the masjid and spend time in the masjid. Give some of our time to the masjid. Because we are the maintainers of the masjid. Huh? We have to maintain and visit the masjid. Each and every one of us. The puberty people too. Young teenager people, they also have to visit the masjid. It has to become a habit for them also, the young people, to go to the masjid. Seek refuge where? To the masjid. Let's go to the masjid. Yes, we must go to and encourage each other to go for salat and jama'ah. The reward, the virtuous reward is so, subhanAllah. Government cannot give. Only Allah can give such a reward. This is how we have to think like this.
Allahu Akbar. Jazakumullahu khairan, Shaykh. Beautiful advice. Because we find an ayah in the Quran, Surah An-Nur. Allah speaks about men who come to the masjid. They are not busy with the dunya, with their businesses and stuff like that. رجال لا تلهيهم تجارة ولا بيع عن ذكر الله وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة يخافون يوما تتقلب فيه القلوب والأبصار ليجزيهم الله أحسن ما عملوا ويزيدهم من فضله والله واسع عليم. Beautiful ayah. Alhamdulillah, jazakumullahu khairan, Shaykh, wa barakallahu fikum. May Allah Azza wa Jalla bless you, brothers. Alhamdulillah, we watch it tremendously. May Allah Azza wa Jalla make this a benefit for the Muslims, because we don't know how much time we got to live on this earth.
We ain't got no time.
Exactly.
Our time belongs to Allah.
We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to bless us to die upon Islam and the Sunnah, and bless us to enter His paradise, Jannatul Firdaus, without any reckoning or accounting. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ameen. Barakallahu.